Hello everybody and welcome back to Pinson to Flood for the win. This is the Hall of the Very Good. This is Happy Hour Friday. I hope to do this every couple weeks, showcase a bourbon or a whiskey that I like, and today it's Elijah Craig and it's in my nice 1963 World Champions Dodger Cup. Nice and smooth, highly recommend it. It's between 25 and 30 bucks. Just something different on I don't see most channels doing this, and I think a happy hour is something we all look forward to during the week. You see in the back, you see Bill Walton. Today's feature is going to be on the 1976-77 Portland Trail Blazers that kind of surprised people. They weren't expected to win the championship that year, and they were down 0-2 in the series before they ran off 4 in a row, and we'll talk about them. The first couple, this is my fourth show. The first 3 shows, I forgot to mention that, there'll be stuff in the show notes. What I hope to do is have bios on the Hall of the Very Good player that I show every time, and other interesting stuff. I'm a historian, so I love to put in little things that you can go and search and look for. So check out the show notes. There'll be stuff in there. There'll be a link to the Blazers baseball reference page for this particular series, and other things. So always check the show notes for stuff, and I'll have links to pretty much everything that I talk about. Another thing I wanted to do, I don't have to do this because of course I just started on YouTube, so it's not like I'm shilling for anything, but I really like the Pennysleever. I can't recommend them more. I can't talk about them more. This is a free plug. I'm not getting anything for it, nor do I want anything for it. I just think they do a great job for these reasons. Look at these sleeves that they offer. It's a vintage sleeve for the 51 tops. Vintage card sleeves for the Gouty and the Leaf. Let me see if I can get this one to show. Come on. There we go. Vintage card sleeves for the 51 and 52 Bowman. The vintage card sleeves for the 49-50 Bowman. The vintage card sleeves for the 55, for the 53s, for the 56s. And then, they do the tall boys. I mean, just a great company. They're easy to deal with. I really like them a lot. I can't speak more highly of them. Really like how they offer. I know Greg at Midlife talks about them highly. I just wanted to give them a free plug just because I have been overwhelmed by their array of sleeves that they have to put in, because that's always an issue. It's for years, because we just basically had the 1 or 2 sleeves. And to be able to have sleeves for everything is really, I think, pretty nice. And I enjoy having it, and would highly recommend to give them a look. And there'll be a link in the show note for you if you want to go check them out. The prices are very reasonable. Couldn't recommend them more. Magazine in the back is the basketball yearbook from 1977-78. It's the year after the Blazers won it, and the team was coached by Jack Ramsey, and what made them so good was their ability to cut and move. That's all they did. They didn't have anybody scoring a ton of points. I think for the season, what was it for the season? I think Maurice Lucas might have been their leading scorer at 20 points a game. At actually 20.2. Bill Walton was second at 18.6. Of course, he was a monster on the boards at over 14 boards a game. But this team was made up of cutting and moving. That was the whole thing, was just getting up and down the court and moving the ball, passing it multiple times, using the bulk of the 24-second clock. And we're meticulous about it. I mean, out of this group, there's basically, 1 Hall of Famer, 2 Hall of Famers. But the backcourt was dynamic, and their small forward was a guy named Bobby Gross, who just did everything well. Wasn't great. But here's the team. It was Dave Twardzik, was off-guard point guard. Lionel Hollins was basically the point guard, but they both played it. This is from the 77-78 top set. Bill Walton was the center. Playing small forward was Bobby Gross. And let me move these over here a little bit so you can see them all. Bill Walton played center. Bobby Gross played small forward. And coming in at power forward was Maurice Lucas. Still not being able to see it. Always knock these over, don't I? There's Maurice Lucas and then Bobby Gross. And this is what the average journey, this is how I do some of my cards like this. This is the Mag Pros that Zion offers, which I think are awesome. I now have my own flip, but before I had my flip, I did this on a couple of different things that I wanted to highlight. Dave Twardzik was just the everything guard. Both the guards were just a little bit over 6 foot. Lionel Hollins averaged 14 points a game, 7th in the NBA in steals, averaged 4 assists a game. There was no one on the team that averaged a lot of assists. Everybody was 4, 5, 6 assists a game because they were just, like I said, everybody cut and moved, and so everybody was getting assists. Bill Walton averaged 18 points, 14 rebounds, had 211 blocks. Maurice led the team in scoring with 20 and averaged over 11 boards. And Bobby Gross was just everything. 11 points a game, 242 assists, 107 steals, 67 blocks. But this was just a really good team, and they only made 5 cards, which is what Topps did back then. But there should be a 6th card because Johnny Davis was the 3rd guard, and that 3-guard rotation was outstanding. And Jack Ramsey was a great coach. He coached at Buffalo, those great teams in the early 70s of Buffalo with Bob McAdoo and Ernie DiGregorio and Randy Smith and Jack Marin and Garfield Hurd and Jimmy McMillan. It was just really good basketball. I'm a big fan of the 70s basketball. I just love that style and love the teams of those eras. And, you know, when they went up against Philadelphia and Dr. J, no one, for the most part, was giving them much of a chance to beat them, especially after the first 2 games. You know, game 1 was 107-101, and game 2 was 107-89, and it was 2-0 Philadelphia going back to Portland. And, you know, it's pretty much Julius Erving and that group just ran amok. They were coached, you know, Philadelphia was coached by Billy Cunningham at the time, and just a really good team with George McGinnis at forward and Maurice Cheeks at guard, Andrew Toney. They were a really good team, and pretty much everybody thought that was going to be it. That was going to be, it was Doug Collins, excuse me, not Andrew Toney. Andrew Toney came a couple of years later. It was Erving, Collins, McGinnis, Bibby, and Dawkins, Steve Smith, Roby Free, Caldwell Jones. That's basically the group of 76ers. And Lloyd Neal, Herm Gilliam, Corky Calhoun, Larry Steele, those were kind of the reserves for Portland. But after coming back to Portland won game 3, 129-107 with Walton. Walton led every single game in rebounding. He had 20 in game 1, 16 in game 2, 18 in game 3, and had 24 in game 5 and 23 in game 6. I mean, he was just a monster on the boards, and there wasn't, in my eyes, in that era, there was not a better passing center than Bill Walton. Many consider him maybe the greatest passing center of all time. Unfortunately, he didn't get to play a lot because of injuries. But when he played, he was as good as any center that ever played the game, really, because he was an all-around center. He could run the court. He was a really good shooter, great rebounder, and just an unbelievable passer. But game 3 came back, and the Blazers won 129-107. In game 4, they just destroyed them again, 130-98. With Lionel Hollins leading the way with 25 points. Julius Erving tried to bring him back in game 5. He had 37, but the Blazers at Philadelphia were just too strong and ended up beating them at home, in Philadelphia, 110-104. And then it was 2-2, and then it would go 1-1-1 if they were to play a 7-game series. That's the way now it's 2-3-2. Back then it was 2-2, 1-1-1. So game 5 was back in Portland, and they won 109-107, preserving it at the end with Julius Erving having a monster game, 40 points. But, I mean, the highlights, if you go watch game 5, it is some of the best. I mean, he dunks over Bobby Gross. It just is annihilation. Just talk about poster. It was that. But Walton and that crew just were too strong, and they won 4 in a row to win the championship. Bill Walton got the MVP and deserved it. Deserved it hands down. Averaged 18.5 points, 19 rebounds, 5 assists, and almost 4 blocks. He led in every category for the Blazers, except in scoring where Maurice averaged 19.7. But Bobby Gross averaged 17, Lionel Hollins 16, and Johnny Davis averaged 10 and 5 assists. I mean, it was just a really good, well-done ball game. And all the games are on YouTube. If you ever want to go, if I can find the links, I'll put them in there, especially for Game 5. You should go watch the games. They're really, it was fun basketball. It was a time, but this was, I was living down in California at the time before I moved up to Oregon. I've been living in Oregon for almost 40 years. But I remember watching that series and just, I was a big Dr. J fan, so I wanted Philadelphia to win. But I came to appreciate how great this team was because they didn't have, Walton might have been the closest thing to a superstar at that time, but they didn't have those flashy names. They didn't have those flashy players. These guys just played just strong pick and roll basketball and movement, 5 guys moving, everybody moving. There'd be multiple 3, 4, 5 passes every time coming down. And Jack Ramsey was all about that movement. If it wouldn't have been for Walton getting hurt, I really think they could have won a 1 or 2 more. They were that good of a team and just really well-rounded. But so that's the 1976-77 Blazer team. Now I'm going to show you some of my pickups. I got a little whatnot back, just a little 7 card, but again, didn't pay more than $2 or $3 for these. I always like collecting the All-Star cards, so anytime I can pick one up, but that's a really nice one, a Rod Carew from 1970. Picked up a third-year Jim Bunning, 59. I think that was $3 or $4. Of course, you're learning. I love my combo cards. And this is Ace Hers with Bobby Pierce and Robin Roberts. It's one of my favorites because I'm a big Calavito, Minoso, and Dobie fan. And, oh, it's got a little hair on it. Sorry, get that out of there. The Destruction Crew from 1958. And then I'm trying to put this set together. I'm getting closer, but the Sporting News rookie class of 1959. Bobby Allison, he'll be featured later on in one of my shows, was a really solid player. Ron Fairley played for the Dodgers, was really good player for almost, I think he had a 17-year career. And Darren Johnson, who hit over 200 home runs in his career. Again, just some really nice cards. Nothing more, $2, $3, $4 a piece. But then I got I like to use Greg Morris every so often. I know some people don't like to use it. On the expensive cards, I think Greg Morris, it can get out of hand if they're really good condition, people pay. But I got really good deals, and I'm really transparent with you guys. I'm always going to tell you what I pay. This is a 1962 Rocky Calavito, pretty nice shape. Paid $4.50 for that. Another one of the combo cards from 1960 with Fox and Kuhn. This one was $4. Nice leaders card of Warren Spahn from 62. Mike McCormick, Kurt Simmons, Jim O'Toole. I think I paid $4.50 for that. Johnny Padres paid $3 for that. I needed that for that. I told you in the last show that I collect teams by war based on decade, and that's one of the cards I needed for that. Dean Chance rookie card, outstanding pitcher in the 60s. Johnny Callison, one of my favorite players, hit that big home run in the All-Star game. I think it was 1965. I can't get that one to focus. That's $4.50. Always looking when I can pick up cheap team cards. I like team cards. I collect team cards. It's just not wanting to focus. I'm sorry, guys. $2.50 for that. This one was a steal. I think this is a pretty nice looking card. Again, there we go. Ron Santo. It's not perfect. It's a little off center, of course, but $3.50. You get a second-year card for $3.50 off of Greg Morris. I'll take it. I like collecting these coaches' cards. This one was not even $2. Jim Brosnan is part of the 61 Reds team that I'm putting together. Got it for $2. Another All-Star card. John Antonelli. Picked this one up for $2. Another combo card. 3 really good players for the Kansas City A's of that time. Oh my gosh, it's not wanting to do it. Norm Seaburn, Lumpke, and Hank Bauer. Ken Boyer All-Star card. I think that was $4. Another coach's card. Another leader's card from 62. I think I picked this one up for $5. That one's a pretty nice one. And then I like old basketball. I love Gus Johnson. I think he's very underrated. Was a terrific player for the Bullets. And I love that 72. I'm going to put a link in the show notes. Dan over at Vintage Cards just did a show on his, a while back on his 72 set that he finished. And that's the first year that the ABA had cards in it. But Dan does a great job and shows off some fantastic cards. And I love that set. So go check it out. Picked up a Flood card. I didn't have this one. I didn't have his decal. So picked up the 69 decal. $6. And then this is one of my favorite guards of all time, Lou Hudson. Lou Hudson and Pete Maravich played about 4 years together in Atlanta, and just maybe even a little longer. And that was one of the best backcourts in the NBA at the time. And Lou Hudson doesn't get credit for how good he was. He was outstanding. And that's my pickups for this week. Wanted to talk to you about the player that I want to feature as the Hall of the Very Good. I am trying to actually finish up his player run. This is his 68. This is Alex Johnson. He's a heck of a player. His career didn't last, real long. It was 16 years, counting the minors. Played 13 seasons. In 1970, won the batting title with a 329 average, 370 on base percentage. Was also second in stolen base percentage that year. He was 17 for 19. Hit 14 homers, 26 doubles. Was first in hits with 202. Or second in hits with 202. But a really outstanding player. Started off in Philadelphia in 64. Went to St. Louis, was part of the 67 team. He didn't participate in the World Series. Then went to Cincinnati for 2 years, then to Cal for 2 years, Cleveland, Texas, the Yankees, Detroit, and then in 1977, played 1 year with the Mexico City Reds in the Mexican AAA League, where he batted .321. For his career, his major league career, had 1,331 hits, 525 RBIs, batted .288, 113 stolen bases. Was just a really solid player on any team he played for. Overall, his 16 years in organized baseball, he had 1,900 hits, had 154 homers, 177 stolen bases, almost 900 RBIs, and batted .298 for his career overall. And played till he was 34 years old. He ended up playing in one All-Star game in 1970. Like I said, he won the batting title in 1970. With a 329 average. He was first in singles in 1970 and second in 1973. Just an outstanding player. Really good, solid player. Again, there'll be a link to his bio. And what I mean by his bio is SABR has this project they're doing, Society for Baseball Research. I will talk about it a lot because I'm a member. If you're a baseball fan, you should go join and be part of the community. There are so many committees. You can go to meetings no matter where you live in what area. There's a chapter, and but you can go on and read the bios. I think there's close to 8,000 bios now on baseball players, and the bios are really extent. I've been part of it. I've written 15 myself for some of the books and everything, and just couldn't recommend it more. But so check out the show notes. I'll put lots of stuff in there. Again, if you're interested in a nice bourbon, I would highly recommend Elijah Craig 12. Small batch. It's really a good one, and hope you enjoyed this show, and see you on the next one. Take care.